What's up, guys? Welcome to the Success Talk, where sustaining success inside and out is the topic. I'd like to welcome our special guest, who is an experienced real estate investor slash cash buyer, Mr. Shawn Custis. And Shawn is actually available through the phone, guys. So he does not have the face camera for us, but he is available on the phone for us. So we're still going to do the show. Shawn, I appreciate you coming on. How are you doing today?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. Let's get right to it. So what does the 7-letter word success mean to you?
What does success mean to me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I've used to read books all the time about what I think it should mean to me.
Mm.
But I believe success is happiness. No matter what you're doing, if you're happy, you're succeeding.
No
if you're in some miserable job because you don't like it, then you're not succeeding, no matter how much money you make.
Right.
I'm very succinct and short with some of my answers, but I don't know. I got to ask in an interview one time about what I thought success was. I was kind of being a smart ass because I already knew that I didn't want the job. And I looked over at the person and I said, I guess success is that the next interview you have is going to be with me telling you what to do.
Right.
The thing was, I left there and thought that they would never, ever call me back, but they called me back and offered me the job.
So they like unconventional answers. No doubt. I mean, success is definitely whatever you make it. And I like what you said right there as far as being happy. Ultimately, that's something we all strive for. So definitely appreciate you sharing that perspective. Now, if you don't mind, let's take a deep dive for the audience. Can you share a bit about yourself, starting with where you were born and raised, and briefly summarize how we got here today?
Well, I was born in Wilmington, Ohio. Small little podunk town, farm town, and I grew up working in the farms and everything else, and I knew I did not want to do that the rest of my life. But my dad had a rental property, and I would always go with him to the rental property, and he did odd jobs at people's houses for extra money, and I always went with him. So by the time I graduated high school, I could actually do plumbing, electric, and just about everything else.
Right.
And when I left for college, I knew that I wasn't coming back because I didn't want to work in the field. I didn't want to be a farmer.
Right.
And so I graduated college and started making a little bit of money, bought a rental house, and all my buddies were going out and having fun, and I'd change clothes after work and go to this rental house. And I did it for probably about a year and a half and got it ready, and then I sold it. And made a little more money, bought another one, sold that one. And so that was in 1996.
Okay.
So however long ago that was.
Yeah.
Now I have the ability to buy houses and buy them for cash, and I keep them. So
no doubt.
When people ask me about real estate, everybody has to find what their own niche is and everything. Right. I like single family government subsidized housing. I have a good friend who doesn't like anything that's single family. He only likes 4 units, and he likes them to be government subsidized.
Right.
I have another friend who only wants commercial multi units. So whatever your niche is, once you figure out what you're good at, stick with it.
No doubt.
Stop trying to make money on these other side gigs that aren't gonna pan out.
Yeah. Don't fall victim to the shiny object syndrome, huh? I definitely get you.
Shiny penny.
No doubt. So awesome. And I like to add to that, guys. So the first time Shawn and I met was back in 2020. Shawn, I don't know if you remember this. I called you to see if you were interested in selling one of your properties. We went over the details, but long story short, you told me you were interested in purchasing more property. And needless to say, guys, we've done, several transactions, and I felt like it was, it really was imperative for me to have him on this episode because he's been in real estate for some time, and he actually buys in property often. You know, he's looking for property buy right now as we speak. So it's definitely good to have his perspective on here.
That's kind of funny. I was going to text you today asking if you had anything.
There it is. Always looking, always looking. Shawn, you kind of covered it a bit, but I guess at what age did you start investing? You said it was after you got it, like when you're freshman year?
Graduated college, so
Okay.
I was 24.
24. Gotcha. And for you, what would you say your main reason was?
Main reason in real estate is I never considered myself the smartest guy.
Mm.
I always considered myself thinking that I could outwork someone else. And if you read books about wealth and things like that, you know, when I was younger and everything else, I wanted different things.
Mm.
I wanted to be able to, you know, go to town and buy whatever I wanted. And when I was growing up, we couldn't.
Mm.
And if you hear and read about some of the wealthiest people ever, obviously other than, you know, some of your startup, you know, tech companies in Silicon Valley and all that stuff, but the true wealth comes from real estate.
Right.
And I always, you know, my dad had a rental property, and my first one, it was a house on Eastern Avenue. And it was rough. It was bad. But, you know, I had to clean out the needles and the drugs and all the other crap and rewire it, replumb it. So while all my buddies were going out and doing things, I'd go to that house every night because I bought it super cheap because no one wanted it.
Right.
And then I bought it and fixed it up and then I rented it out. And I sold it. And then I took that money and bought another one. So.
Right. Start playing Monopoly.
Yeah. So it was always my goal. It's like, you know what, when you're in a job, you're making an hourly wage or something like that, or a salary. You can make a real estate gig on the side,
right?
And you can make it work. But you have to be willing to get out of work, change your clothes, and go there until you can't stand up anymore. Go home, fall asleep, get up, go to work, and do it all over again.
Right.
I did that for about 4 years. And it's maybe because I mean, I still had fun and everything else, but
right.
I was single.
Right.
I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't really care because I wanted that more than anything else. That's what I wanted more than anything else.
Right. Right.
So
that's big. No, that's big. And the fact that you had a aiming point, the fact that you had a direction, a lot of people don't even have that. So that's, you know, step one for a lot of you guys watching, for a lot of you guys listening to this, you know, having that direction, having that aiming point and knowing the way to get there. The rest is up to you. You just have to do it. Just put the work in. So Shawn,
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know what my path was. I really didn't. But like I said, I knew I wasn't the smartest guy, but I knew I could outwork anybody else. Or at least I thought I could.
Right.
And I had the dedication and the commitment to leave work every day, you know, and drive to Home Depot. And I'll tell you a quick funny story. The second house I ever bought, D'Angelo, you said you lived in Cincinnati, so yeah. Madison Road and Red Bank, right?
Okay.
There's a great big intersection down by Madison and Madisonville. Great big. So one day I got off work early, and I drove this 78 Ford pickup, or Ford Bronco.
Okay.
And all beat to hell, but I loved it. So I went to Home Depot. I picked up about 10 sheets of drywall because I'd gotten everything out of this house. I was ready to hang.
Yeah.
And I was doing it by myself. I had my hangers. I could carry 2 sheets in at a time, hang it, finish it. So I had 10 sheets of drywall, a bucket of mud, a bunch of screws, and some 2x4s. And I'm driving down Red Bank Road, and it's 5 o'clock traffic on a Friday, because that's what I was doing. And it's a pretty big intersection. And I get out in the middle, and all of a sudden my Bronco stalls a little bit and dies. So I started back up in the middle of this intersection, and I'm kind of freaked out because people are starting to honk at me, and I take off as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything strapped in. Well, the drywall slid right off, almost like a pancake, right in the middle of Madison Road at Red Bank at 5 o'clock traffic. There's 9 sheets of drywall, screws everywhere, a bucket of mud everywhere, people honking like crazy. And I didn't care.
Right.
Because you know what? I was going to get that drywall done that night.
There it is.
So,
there it is.
I tell that story, and then people are laughing. They're like, "Weren't you embarrassed?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I was embarrassed. People are honking at me, yelling, calling me names."
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you do?
Right. You still got to get the work done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It sucks too.
No
Picking
doubt.
up drywall in the middle of the road as people are honking, driving around you.
No doubt. No, I feel you, Shawn. So, right now, can you tell the audience, me and you've discussed this before, but how many pieces of property do you own, rental and commercial?
I don't know how many pieces of property I own because it's superstitious to me. I know how many people or how many I want to get to. I want to own 81 pieces of property. And everybody's like, well, how in the hell do you get to 81? Well, probably about 10 years ago, I met a guy, and he was my electrician at the time. And we were somewhere, and all of a sudden he said, see that old man over there in the S10? This S10 had a different colored bed, a different colored door, and 4 different rims. And he got out of this truck, and he looked like, I'm not kidding, he looked like he'd just crawled out from underneath the underpass. And he said, you know who that is? I said, no. He said his name, and when he said his name, I immediately knew who it was. The guy owns half of Montgomery in Ohio. He said he's one of the richest men around, lives in a $5 million house, and is going to sell everything because he said his kids were useless and lazy. And I said, well, how many properties does he own? He goes, 81.
So there it is. Very specific, very specific, very specific.
Now, like I said, I don't know how I know about how many I have, but I do collect rent right now from 79 people.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
That's different than how many pieces of property I own.
Exactly. Kind of have several doors for one piece of property. I got you. So, Shawn, one thing I believe in is how you are in one area of life is how you will be in all areas of life. This belief has made me more aware of the correlation between what happens in my business and what happens in my personal life. One correlation on my personal values, I've discovered them to be near the same as my business values. And as long as I uphold those values, I go to sleep feeling successful at night. So if you don't mind, can you share 3 of your values, business or personal, and explain how you utilize your values on a day-to-day basis to help you feel successful despite outer circumstance?
I don't know what my values are. I don't know what you would call 3 of them.
Just like one word type of values, whatever it is.
I understand that, but I think probably honesty.
Okay.
If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'll do it. I don't need it in writing. Whereas, some people out there do. I can go to bed at night no matter what I do because I don't lie, I don't cheat, and I don't steal. And those are 3 things I can't stand from people.
Right.
Half the time, if you just ask me, I'd give it to you instead of stealing it from me. Don't lie to me because I don't. Just tell me the truth. It may hurt, but I'll like it better.
Gotcha.
So
honesty, man of your word. Honesty is the essential ingredient for you, though.
It is.
I got you. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, some of the people that are watching this are new real estate investors, specifically wholesalers. And as a seasoned investor yourself, who has experienced many up and down markets, Do you have any recommendations on how wholesalers can thrive in any market condition?
Wholesalers, you know, it doesn't matter the market. I mean, you have to find. I mean, for D'Angelo, somebody like you have to find 5 of me. And once you do, then your paycheck is based upon how hard you work on finding more properties. Because if you knew that you brought me 40 properties, I'm buying all 40 if they meet my criteria.
Right.
So, when someone says, "Oh, well, the market sucks," market doesn't suck. It's just changed.
Right.
So if instead of, I don't know how you find your stuff, but when you call me and say, "I got this house and blah, blah, blah," if it meets the criteria that I'm going to buy, I'll buy as many as you got. Right. You got 100 of them, I'll buy 100.
No doubt, no doubt. So guys, the main thing there that you should really take a hold of is, the market conditions, they really don't matter, especially you as a wholesaler. There's always going to be someone that's looking to purchase a great deal. So all you have to do is find the great deal, and then you'll find people that are looking for great deals. So it really doesn't matter about the market condition.
It doesn't matter whether it meets my criteria. I know 4 guys do stuff that doesn't meet my criteria, but it meets theirs.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll buy it all day long.
No doubt. Guys, hold on to that. So guys, well, Shawn, one thing I've discovered to be true over the years of being a real estate investor is that we are investors first. So part of us being an investor is always looking for a great return on investment. If you don't mind, can you briefly share what other assets you are investing in? If any.
I don't do anything but invest in real estate.
Okay, I was going to say if any. Okay. A real estate peer he does no other investments but real estate, guys. I know you heard that.
I had the money in the stock market a long time ago during the .com. Lost my ass. Worked my way back to get it up and up and up. While working with real estate, lost my ass in 2008. Right. I swore then I would never put my money back in the stock market, and I haven't. I sold houses in the nicer parts of Cincinnati that I had. And I went and bought, my model, D'Angelo. That's all I do.
Right.
I don't want anything else. I want the government to pay me every month.
Exactly.
That's what I've done.
There it is. That guaranteed income. So, no doubt. So, Shawn, if you don't mind, can you share with us a brief overview of your day-to-day schedule? A brief overview.
Overview of mine. I own a mortgage company, so I get up. I'm here by about 9:15 every morning. I'm doing all the paperwork. At the same time I'm doing that paperwork, I'm looking at about 8 to 9 different places I look for houses. And I find too that whether or not I'm going to buy that house or whether I like it or dislike it, I go see 2 at lunchtime every day. Like today, I don't like Avondale at all.
Yeah.
I don't like Lincoln Heights. But I went to Avondale and I went to Lincoln Heights. So I'm looking at 2 houses every day, sometimes 3 and 4.
Okay.
So when I get back, I do mortgage stuff, and I leave around 3:34. I do that every day.
There it is. Man, that sounds productive.
I eat in my car.
Okay.
I don't go out. I don't do anything else. But I'm always hunting for houses.
Right. That definitely sounds productive. Now, I think what we're all, interested in after hearing that is mentally, how do you balance it all?
It's really not when you want something really bad, you'll find a way to balance it.
Right.
I don't want it nearly as bad as I did when I was 25, 26.
Yeah.
I don't have to. Because most of everything that I've done and set up, it runs on its own.
Right.
But I guess I'm stingy in the sense as I want more.
Right.
So
motivated.
Yeah, we bought 5 houses last month.
Right.
So if I had 5 to buy right now, I'd buy 5 more.
Exactly.
So now, when you're in the middle of rehabbing them and doing all of it, now that's a lot. Because as I'm looking at 2 houses a day, I'm going to those houses, making sure the guys that I've got working for me are getting stuff done.
Right. Right. That goes into the next question. So throughout, doing your journey, and I do believe I agree 100% with what you said. When you really want something, it's not like it's heavy on you. It's like you want this, so you feel a joy, but while doing it. But has there ever been a time throughout your journey where you've thought about giving up or throwing it in the towel? And if so, when? You said never. Okay.
Never. I've had people tell me I can't do it.
Mm.
And I have people that told me I wouldn't succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy in high school, or a principal in high school, to tell me that I wouldn't succeed. Mm. I sent him a nice letter once I graduated college.
No doubt.
And it had some, fun words in it. Yeah. I had someone else tell me once that I wouldn't succeed, and this was a long time ago, but I sent him a copy of a tax return once.
That's what's up.
Someone says I can't do it. If my physical ability is going to allow me, trust me, I will.
Yeah. There it is. I like that. That's real. So, Shawn, after learning,
I can't run a marathon, even though I tried once. It sucked. I finished, but it was dark by the time I walked over that line. It was awful.
Damn.
It was a miserable experience of my life. But someone said I couldn't do it, but I did it.
Right.
It was awful.
Use that as energy, though. That's probably what got you through those last steps on that marathon.
It was miserable.
No doubt.
But anyway.
Well, Shawn, that's real. And after learning more about you, one thing that I am curious about, what are your plans for retirement? And if you don't have to go into detail, but if you don't mind, could you briefly share with the audience someone of your,
Somebody asked me that the other day. I mean, I'm 50 years old. Somebody asked me that the other day. Mm-hmm. I don't need to retire.
There it is.
Before.
Right.
I mean, it's not burdensome to do what I do.
Right.
So.
Right. No, that is something.
It becomes more of a game. Mm-hmm. It becomes more of a game to see how much more you can add. Mm-hmm. How fast can I double this, or how fast can I triple that, or how fast can I do this, or it becomes more of a game.
Right. Right.
But I've been doing it for 30 years. So.
Right.
When you first start out, it's more about dedication and commitment than it is now, where you can sit back. I guess I could retire right now if I wanted, but right. I'd be bored out of my mind and wouldn't know what to do. And then my wife would divorce me because she'd say, "Get the hell out of the house."
Exactly. No doubt. Yeah, that's real. And, the reason I asked you that question is because, someone with your background and, your mindset is completely different than the conventional way of life as we, that is put among the most of the society, where we say, work all your lives and save for retirement. But then you retire to actually do what? Some people don't live fulfilled, and some people can't stay retired due to the lack of finances. So I appreciate you sharing that perspective, because when you have a passion, it's not like a retirement. It's just like you just try to get better and better.
But I'm also at the point where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want.
Exactly. And that goes into my last question. So, do you consider yourself successful by your own definition?
By my own definition of happiness, yeah, I am happy. But so when someone says, "Well, are you successful?" Each time like right now, my goal is to hit 81. I'm not successful truly until I hit 81.
Mm.
So,
Right.
but by my definition of happiness, and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, yes, I'm successful.
I love that, and I love that you shared that. The same sentiment, and that's why I appreciate you coming on the show again, because people that I admire and people that I've brought on this show and that I speak with, they are very modest when it comes to being asked if you are successful, because they feel that there's still so much more to be accomplished. However, it is good to, set our own standards of success and to feel successful on our journey, because we really set the precedent for people, that comes after us and that look up to us, because, there's not a lot of people out there that's doing what they actually want to do. So there's definitely a light to be shone on those that are such as yourself. So Shawn, thanks again for coming on and sharing your perspective. I wish you nothing but more growth and success throughout this new year. Do you have any last words for the audience to share with the audience?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, never give up. And D'Angelo?
Yes, sir.
Find me some more houses.
I got you. No doubt, guys. And if you like to sell any houses to my man, Shawn, you can see he's always looking. All you got to do is hit me up if you like to sell any houses to my guy, Shawn. So until next time, as always, you know what's up. Shawn, that was great.